Pickpockets in Europe. Let's talk about it. Is it a big a deal as all these YouTubers and TikTokers make it out to be? Hi, my name is Sarah and very random. I've just come back from Europe. I did Paris, Rome and Malta. I want to talk about all the tourist trap videos because they led me to believe a whole bunch of crap. Let's be honest. Look, I get it. This is how they make their money. They've got to emphasize all these do's and don'ts, but it's misleading. And I'm not a misleading type of person, so I just want to tell you straight. From an Aussie, let's be real about travel in Europe. Number one, my husband went out and brought all this safety shit, did himself nuts, trying to find the perfect thing to carry so he could carry cash, our cards and passports. Did he need to do that? In our experience, no. No, he didn't. But yes, there were crowds. Yes, when we were in specific areas, if you were with a tour guide or something, they'd say, look, just be a little extra vigilant. There are pickpockets in this particular area. But if you're just smart, little bit, and you've got a crossbody in front of you, really unlikely it's going to happen. You've got to notice someone trying to get in there. They're not after a hard score, they're after an easy one. And there's a lot of them out there because there's a lot of people walking around with their backpacks open, stuff in the back of their pocket, like really stupid stuff. So if you're just like the slightest bit aware, I think you're good. Let's also talk about the restaurant tourist traps. I'm sorry, but I didn't really see a difference. I was like, okay, yep, definitely gonna stay away from the big monument restaurants and cafes and things like that. You know, if I want a coffee, yeah, I'll pay a little extra for it. Who cares? It's convenience, right? But, you know, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna find like alleys and laneways and stuff, and I'm gonna find like authentic food. And I did. And it was the same as like, I was like, oh yeah, this is all right. I'm sorry, but that's what I thought. I come from Melbourne. Melbourne's a very multicultural city, and we're very spoiled here in the way of cafes and restaurants. We are. So the food was good, but it wasn't, you know, I need to spend an hour heading down different places and, you know, researching and stuff, trying to find like, you know, the restaurants where they don't speak English or the restaurants where they don't have English menus. Pretty much everyone speaks English, and there really wasn't a lot or any that I came across that didn't have some version of English on their menu. Don't bother with that. Eat around the monuments. Is it going to be the best food? No, but are you exhausted and tired from walking like 13 to 16k steps a day? Yes. So pay to sit. Pay the little bit extra, you get the same kind of food, and, you know, your service is probably going to be better. Let's be honest, they're dealing with tourists all day, so the service is a lot better. Speaking of which, let's talk about the stereotype of the French. French can be very rude and arrogant. Was this my experience? Yeah, pretty much was. And, you know, I'm not saying all French are rude, but I did experience a lot of rude people. For example, what I did find really rude was I went to the bathroom in a restaurant, and there was a line of women, and at the end of that line there was a woman standing there who looked like I thought might have been the bathroom attendant. You know, her clothes were all stained, she's very grotty, very out of place. So she looked like she was cleaning. But she was like a cleaner, but she was standing at the end. Anyway, so I thought, you know what, Sarah, don't assume, you know, just be polite. So I went up and I'm like, bonjour, excuse me, are you in the line? And because she was literally at the end of the line. And she's looked at me. She's then sort of stood out of the line, stood in front of me, looked at me and went, I was just like, I kind of looked like around, like I was gobsmacked. I said nothing. I was just gobsmacked. Like the look on my face, she ended up just walking off, but I was gobsmacked. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, what kind of response is that? And I kind of got that response a lot. So if you're asking, like, if I was asking for directions to something, like when I was looking for that restaurant, I asked a security guard, like, oh, hey, is this the way to the restaurant? And the security guard went to me. I was just like, the fuck? Like, I said, bonjour, excuse me, is this the way to the restaurant? Big smile on my face, and I got, I'm just like, looked at my husband and I'm like, what the fuck? So you just sort of go, oh, I don't know. Like, that's not a cultural thing. That's just a fucking rude thing. Like, not all French were like that. I just want to say not all French were like that, but fuck that. That really threw me. One more example. I did go up to a group of people to ask for directions to a place, and I went up, bonjour, big smile on my face. Do you speak English? And they've gone, no, like this. They were older, probably 60s to 70s, maybe 70s. And I just sort of went with a big smile on my face. I'm like, oh, that's okay. You probably do. You just don't want to, help me. It's okay. And their mouths just dropped. They couldn't believe I said that to them, which then, proved my point. They did understand me. They just didn't want to help me. So they're not a helpful people. They don't want to help you, especially if they don't have to. So if they're in like a service, like a restaurant, and they're serving you, helpful. If they're in the hotel, maybe a little reluctant, but they will help you. If they are someone on the street, someone that you're not physically paying money to, no. My experience is a big fat no. There are a lot of scams around the monuments and stuff. Again, I'm going to say no, and I'm just going to say that from my experience in all, like, the travel that I've done, around the world. I did not find it annoying, frustrating, harassing, or anything like that. I really don't think most Aussies would, especially Aussies that have traveled to either Bali or Asia. We would not find their level of scam or whatever you want to call it, like annoying. Had people sort of standing around, because it was cold, they had people standing around selling umbrellas. They weren't obviously allowed to do that because as soon as they saw the police, they like bolted out. That was really funny. I wish I kind of got that on camera. I did get one of the guys that was selling umbrellas near the Louvre. I did get a bit of his arrest. I don't know if he ended up arrested, but a cop did sort of grab him, throw him against the wall and do this whole search and stuff. Got a little bit of that on film. That was funny. I didn't buy any umbrellas or anything from them. I know that, that's not a good quality umbrella and that they're not supposed to be doing that. They don't have a license to do that. So I did not and I didn't need an umbrella, so I didn't get one. A lot of people did though. Did I find them annoying? No. Like, they're standing there, they put an umbrella out towards you and you walk past and say no thank you. And that is really the end of it. It was like that at a few places actually. The only place that I partook in that was in Rome at the Vatican. It was really, really hot. And I drank all my water. I was in a line. Oh, no, was it Vatican? No, the Colosseum. Sorry. I was at the Colosseum and they had all these like water boys walking around with bottles of water, frozen bottles of water, and they were selling them for like €2. I grabbed one. Like, who cares? I grabbed one. It was either that or send my husband to go find a cafe or something to find me a bottle of water. So I just grabbed one when I was in line. Like, wasn't a big deal. Kind of, they really emphasize like, don't buy from these people and they're scammers and they're this and they're that. And not really. Let's stop getting around. We used Uber. Uber was safe. Uber was cheap. It wasn't, like, I'm not getting on the subway. I don't get on the subway in my own city. So why would I get on the subway in Paris? Like, I'm just not a subway person. So I was about that. I'm just really not. So we grabbed Ubers. Everywhere we went. It's just convenient. It's easy. You know exactly what you're paying, and that's what we did. One other thing is to jump on the on-off bus. The on-off bus? There's an on-off bus. We got that with the Paris pass, and we used it one day and it was really good. Would I recommend the Paris pass? Let's get on to that. No. That is the biggest waste of money. The Go City pass. We had it for Paris, we had it for Rome. Biggest waste of money ever. So I can do a whole video on that, and a whole video on doing booking your tours, going into places, things like that. Do not rely on that app. I think that is your scam. That is the biggest ripoff. You are better off booking things, buying your tickets privately yourself and going yourself. Don't do that app in any of the cities. It's in every city. Don't do it. I'm more than happy to do a big reason why and how that completely effed up our Paris experience. Let's talk fashion. Paris, I was expecting like this amazing, like fashion forward city. Wasn't. Actually, to be quite honest, I wasn't looking for luxury while I was over there. I was more interested in doing things that I can't do here in Australia or in the Asian countries and stuff that I travel to. I was more interested in seeing monuments and museums and things like that than wasting time doing luxury shopping. Is there a lot to choose from over there? Yes. So if you were to go to specifically do some luxury shopping, oh, you're going to love it. You'll have a ball. You know, if you were to go to Paris just to have coffee, eat, you know, have some wine and do some shopping, oh, amazing city. Is it fashion forward on the street? No, very conservative. I found it very conservative. And again, I come from Melbourne, so we have a lot of people that very much comfortable expressing themselves here in different fashion. And yeah, I didn't really see a lot of that over there. Everyone's, quite conservative. So quite luxury, as you want to say. I find that Rome was a little bit more adventurous as far as their fashion went. They were a little bit more out there, a little bit more interesting. So I really liked Rome for that. I would go and do Rome 100 times over. I loved Rome. Very easy city to get around. People are very friendly and helpful. Food was amazing. Wine was amazing. Just walking around was amazing. Everything we did there was just easy and we loved it and everyone was helpful. I think that made a huge difference. Paris, you know, it was a beautiful city and it was really nice to walk around, but you know, there's a lot of people there. It's very overwhelming. It's very overstimulating and there are massive crowds. A lot of TikTokers will give the illusion of this magical, beautiful fantasy of Paris, and it's just, you know, don't go over with this romanticized expectation of a city. Like, I did see a girl running around in this dress. She's hiking up. It was raining. There was lots of people. She couldn't get the photos that she wanted. Like, she looked frustrated. You know, there's a lot of people there. There's noises. There's traffic. It's chaos. It's not this quiet, quaint, beautiful like city that you're just like magically running around like Carrie Bradshaw. It's just not like that. Just have realistic expectations and you won't be disappointed. So that's about it really. If you've got any questions, let me know below in the comments. I'm happy to do like a full information type video on the Go City passes, the museum passes, booking in the skip the line. That's a lie. Skipping the line is a lie. Don't believe that. There is no skip the line. There is a purchase ticket. That's it. That does not allow you to skip the massive lines. I need to tell you that. But I'm happy to do a more in-depth look at that, tell you where we went wrong, what I think works better for a traveler, and and just to save you some time and stress and stuff like that. Happy to do that. And my recommendations, of course, the do's, the don'ts of booking to go see things in Paris. Anyway, That's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked, then consider subscribing. That's about it. Anyway, ciao, ciao, bye.